Let's jump into it, and we can, do some better problem shares. Just take a quick deep breath. Leandra just jumped on to share with us, so just settling in here. We're talking about better problems and anything that came up during your week. So Leandra, share with us.
Thanks. I think what I'm loving so much about this game is just like how it just keeps building on itself and building on itself and building on itself. Cause like several games came into play, but yesterday, so I don't know if y'all are familiar with the book, It's Not Your Money. Let me grab it here really fast. It's by Tosha Sawyer.
Yeah, I know that book.
Yeah. And that's probably backwards too, but
no, that's right.
I have it.
I was doing one of the meditations on our drive home yesterday, and it was sort of the money coming through the vents game, right? But it was, imagining the light coming down on you and then coming through your hands. But what I found so interesting is as I was doing the meditation and it was kind of flipping between the two of like light pouring down and money coming through the vents at the same time, was that she said, you don't have to keep it all. You don't have to hold it all. And I was like, oh, yeah. Like, I don't need to be hiding this money from my friends before they come over for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, there's so much of it coming through the vents. I don't have to hold it all. I can give them some of the money.
Yeah.
And then
you could even let some fly out the window.
Yeah,
right?
You could.
It would fly to somebody somewhere.
Yeah, somebody be happy.
And so then, because I'm teaching money, I thought, oh, I could see how their money stories might get in the way of taking some of the money. And here's where the game built on itself, was that when I gave them the money, I was like, don't take exactly how much you want. Don't take too little for fear of looking greedy. And that was the present game for me this year. Was that in past, anytime I opened a present, it was like disappointing, like, I should have asked for more. It's not enough. And this year I opened it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I needed. Like, this is exactly how much I needed and a little bit more. And it was like, oh. And so as I'm giving in this meditation, giving money to my friends, I'm like, take what you need. Don't take too little so that you go home and then you're disappointed and like, oh, I should have taken some more, but I didn't want to be greedy. Like, make sure you take enough, but don't take so much that don't take more than you need, because you can always come back and get more. And I realized that, like, and then I kind of had that thought of like, but then don't just come back because you want money, like come back because you want to hang out with me. And there's always more money. And I thought, oh my gosh, it was like this flip from it's not your money. Like, it's almost like I was divine source talking to my friends and telling them what I wanted from them, so that I could see it from my side of like, all this money coming through the vents is coming from source. Hey, don't just come back when you want more, and don't take less than you need so that you're disappointed and resentful. Like, take exactly what you need and then come back, but come back because you like me, not just because you want more money.
Yeah.
And so it was such a cool meditation that like all the games were building on themselves.
I love that. I mean, I totally can relate to that the universe is saying, yeah, take whatever you need. Oh, you only are telling me you need, $1,000 right now. Okay, here's a client, here's $1,000, or here's this or that for $1,000. And if you ask for more, it will be there as well. And don't, like, taking it from greed doesn't make sense. The whole thing, flipping it as you did, is just amazing. Because
it was really cool. It was such a fun one, especially because, like I said, it was like all the games.
Yeah, and what's most important to the universe from that perspective feels like the trust and the ease and the flow of it, instead of, oh, I don't want to look greedy, or, oh, I'm scared it's not going to be there when I come back. Like either of those feel a little distrustful to the source.
Exactly. Yeah. That was the other piece of it, is like, there's always more money shooting out the vents. Like it's always there. It's always
Yeah.
there. And that actually, that was a different meditation that I did this morning of that mistrust of sources. That's always been one of my fears, is, and I think it's generational, because my family literally lost the farm in the Depression.
Mm.
And so it's that, but you never know when there's going to be more. And so really working through that, like, even if there's never more, source is your source. Like, even if you're completely penniless, source is the source. Money
Mhm.
is not the source.
Money is not
Source
the
is the source.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge, 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 huge,
Yeah.
big, big stuff. Yeah.
Thanks for letting me share. I'm like, I'll just save all of mine until they all stack enough on each other to share.
That works too, however you want to play it. Speaking of timing, I asked Teresa to take over after about 20 after, because I have to go catch a shuttle at 30 after. So does anyone else like to share? I guess I can share mine. It's a little bit like that, Leandra, in a way, like taking the crunchiness off money, either the right now greediness or the, oh, is there going to be some later freak out. For me, when I peel back the layers of both, I'm not going to judge this circumstance as necessarily a problem. And I'm also not going to judge my very human reaction as negative, because I'm going to have these human reactions. So when I take off both of those judgments, what's left in me making the choice is, and I'm still coming to this word, but I think the word right now today is expansiveness. This choice that I'm making is going to bring me some new pain. It's probably going to bring me some new pleasure, but it's probably going to bring me some new pains. It's going to have some new puzzles. I'm going to feel out of my depth at times. Like, in a way, these are all cases to just stay where I'm at. Just don't bother with anything, because where you're at is a certain level of problems or puzzles or what have you. And so just stay there. Why go seeking new shores when it's just going to bring new drama sometimes? But I think that this game peels off those levels of, avoiding pain, wanting to avoid pain for me, and lets me see I'm already in some pain. And so the new criterion becomes, is this a more expansive choice? Is this a choice that's truly moving me forward at a deep level? And that is a way better way for me to make a decision than just, is this going to be good or bad? Is this going to be pain or pleasure? Because it's just always both. So I really loved that. I loved seeing that. This was like such a metaphor to this week with the sunburn. We went to go see the manatees, super amazing, would not trade it. And the more natural sunscreen didn't do a dang thing for me. And so I got really burned. And then 2 days later, we were going to go out in the sun again. And so I did consider for a moment, like, do I need to tap out of that? Because it's more sun, and is that really worth going to this place that I've already been before? Maybe I just let my family members go. I clicked off you guys for a second. I think you're still right there. And tap out. But I couldn't really do that, because the more expansive choice, the more life-giving choice was definitely to go see my kiddo have the amazing experiences I had. It was the one place I had been before, so it was the one place we've been talking about the whole time getting ready for the trip. It was cliff diving, snorkeling, and then we ended up as a surprise, we ended up getting to swim with the dolphins.
Oh, wow.
I'm so
You
glad
would-
I
yeah,
was.
you would have missed that. Wow.
I could have missed that. So this was a pretty clear one. Clearly the more expansive choice was to go. But still, it hammered it home to me that there's going to be a more expansive choice, and there's going to be a truly contracting choice. And this isn't to judge if I had decided I needed to take care of myself, right? Like, if I truly had needed to take care of myself, I should have just stayed home. But it was more my fear in this case. Once I was like, I'm pretty sure the expansive choice is to go, then I could start solving that puzzle. How do I go and take care of myself? So, and then I just wore a shirt and it was like 80% solved with that, you know? So that's what I noticed, is this game allows me to ask a better question than good or bad choice. Yeah.
I'll go. I like how you were following your soul choice. As a comment to reflect back to you. Because anytime we're here to expand, so anytime we go with that expansive opportunity or decision or whatever, it's always our soul coming in. And of course our ego wants to keep us safe, so we're going to have that. But when we follow the soul, of course, as I'm following the soul with this house thing, it somehow or other we get to trust it's going to work out, because it does. And so I just like keep going back. And then what I've been doing is looking back at in the history of my life of where I've taken a big risk, or actually spent more in a coaching program, quite a bit, almost double more for a coaching program than I did than my actual mortgage will be.
Wow.
And I am like, well, duh, if I was able to manage that way back then and whatever, well, then I don't know how I'm going to manage it, because of course I'm not seeing that, I just dropped a selenite crystal. Let me get it. My apologies to the crystal. Sorry, baby. Unfortunately, it didn't hurt it. Yay. So that just took a lot of the pressure off. And helped me to realize, well, then, I do need to expand. This is what's planned for me, and to just follow that. So by doing that, it made it a whole lot easier. So the puzzle wasn't so, it was more about, I like the idea of how we phrased it as a puzzle rather than a problem, because it made it more fun. It made it more fun to play. It made it more, like I've been trying to, for the last couple of weeks, look for movers. And I'm like, well, this is just a puzzle piece, and every time, it'll fit in. So you just, I just was guided to reach out, on Facebook, different groups here, and, got recommendations and was able to find. And so the puzzle piece actually was like really easy to solve once I reached out for support.
Nice.
Yeah, then it was just like, oh, then I had options, I had recommendations, and I could, basically follow the threads until I found the one that I liked the best. And so it was nice. And it was easy. It was an easy puzzle to solve, actually, so yeah, it's been fun. I think this is a really fun game.
Good. I'm so glad. I love how you said that. It's once you opted in, because last week you were not completely all into this game of New House. You were maybe even you were 9 toes at one point, right? But you weren't quite 10 toes in. But now that you're actually in, because you remembered, this is your choice and things like that, right? Once we get all in for the puzzle we're solving, it can be a really easy puzzle. And I love that remembrance and that awareness, because for me, sometimes the decision is the hardest part. once I make the decision, the other puzzles are mainly logistical.
Right.
But it's listening to what is the decision, and I don't want to listen to the surface level crap anymore. I really want to listen to that. I like that soul level. You know, is this for me? I know it could bring pain, but is it still for me? And am I just focused on the pain because that's the only part I can see about it right now? And so that's the only thing I have to go on. But maybe around the river bend, there's the reason I meant for it is all the amazing stuff that comes for it that I just don't have a reference point for it right now.
Exactly.
Can't know it.
Right. And you can't know it. And it's literally so much of everything in life, especially these days, is stepping into the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't know how this world is going to work out. We don't know. And it's where, like Leandra said, it's trust and faith and all those big muscles that, you know, really, as far as spirituality, that even though we've developed them to a certain extent, the further along we get on the path, the more we have to develop them, the stronger we have to be.
I know. I'm always amazed at that. It's like, I thought I had the skills and that's why I got on this path. But really the whole path has been needing more work. It's like, that was just the entry fee. Now which is another metaphor for everything that's happening in Cancun, is like the $50 entrance fee is just the beginning. Then there's the gift shop. Then they charge you an arm and a leg for the photos. If you want any photos of all the fun things you're doing, you know, blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of like that. It's like, no, that was just to get you on the path. Now is the real is while you're on the path.
Exactly.
Yeah. Shoot, this is pretty much my cue to head on out. But I want to make sure, Teresa, you feel good about taking over.
Yep, I'm good. I mean, yeah, I don't have a ton to share. I just wanted to check in for some inspiration because the just wasn't quite connecting yet with this particular game. So,
Awesome.
but yeah, I mean, yeah.
I would love for, you know, you get to ask your questions and talk about what's going on for you this week and see if other people have insight. You have some powerhouse people here. And
Thank you.
Able to let Eliana back in?
Yeah, she's here.
Yes, I did.
Good.
Yeah, I saw that. Thankfully, I saw that.
Good, that's awesome. So yeah, if other people jump on, that'll be you to let in. And then the other piece I'd love to encourage you guys to remember, takes a little bit of time management, not too bad, but is that declares piece at the end. So about 10 of or 5 of, if you want to just check in with people of everything we've shared today, and it might be incredibly powerful for you in particular, Teresa, because you know, you still haven't quite gotten the gold gem yet, but listening to what we've shared today and summing it up for yourself in a declare seems to have been very important in this game.
Thanks.
But that's it. Thank you so much for subbing for me and for coming together, even though I have to take off.
All right. Have fun, Amanda. We love you.
I'm just going to turn off my video and sound so it'll still download to my recorder, okay?
Okay.
I'll be gone. Okay.
Well, yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Anybody else want to share? I guess it would be Eliana, you and I have not shared yet.
Why don't you go ahead and share, because I'm kind of, how to say, scattered brain right now.
Yep.
And you listening to your share would help me.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm not really sure why. I just couldn't quite connect or apply or see how this applied to where I'm at right now. Yeah, like the better problem. And I don't know if it's because I'm sort of in this place of like, it's hard to describe, but it's like almost like a complete acceptance of whatever is. And maybe the problem is you know, that's a really great place to be when you're in acceptance, because you have peace no matter what's going on around you, which is like totally what I've been experiencing. But maybe the problem is to be able to take that peace and then actually do something, make that decision of, so the note I took down when Amanda was talking is decision is the first step. Listen to myself on the better decision. So, so my problem right now is that, I do have more time. I do have, you know, the financial resources of money and time. And so what do I do with that? Like, where do I go with that? What do I create with that? And so, yeah, I just been kind of like floating around, sort of, I feel like, not really moving in any direction. Although opportunities are showing up. Like yesterday, I offered to watch my cousin's grandson because she needed to do something, and I was happy to do it, even though I needed to do some other stuff on my taxes and everything. I just made the decision to do it. And then when I was at the pool with him, ran into a lady who I had met earlier, who remembered me as the love coach. And she's like, I really need to talk to you. I really want to, you got to give me your card. And so, before I leave for the weekend to go visit my nephew in Tampa, I'm going to drop my card off at her place. She lives here in the condos where I live. So, so yeah, I don't know. Like when I think of problem, it doesn't like resonate with problem. I think of challenges, opportunities, and maybe even just this word decision, like is more resonant with me. And maybe I'll play with that over the weekend. I'm going to visit my nephew in Tampa. I'm going to spend a couple days with him. So be cognizant maybe of the decisions that I'm making, you know, throughout the day and throughout the weekend. So I don't know if that helps you, Eliana, but that's just kind of where I'm at. And
I have a comment. It feels like you might be putting, and I've done this in the past, so I know, putting a lot of pressure on ourselves to get the game.
mm-hmm.
And maybe what we get to do is just relax into it and enjoy your space of getting the sense that, like, maybe your whole energy system is catching up now.
Mm-hmm.
From like, and I don't know your life story, so I, you know, whatever, but from say a few years prior where you really were busy and stressed and making a lot of decisions, and it was, you know, life or death and all that kind of stuff. And so when we have those really intense periods, sometimes what we need before those other opportunities can come to us is just relax into that waiting space. Mm-hmm. And just enjoy, like, what, like, you made a decision. I mean, the puzzle piece was you decided to go to Tampa. So, you know, we often think, and we all do this, we're conditioned to this, to think of decisions as they have to be difficult or they have to be about a problem. But what about having, like, on the weekend, I think, you know, like one of my fun decisions is like, well, where am I going to go hiking this weekend? That's a fun puzzle problem to have. You know, the time, the you know, the resources, whatever. And so we, instead of thinking of it as a problem, it's like, you know, something, even fun things are puzzles. And so how lucky we are to have those, you know, puzzles, as opposed to, you know, having something difficult, painful. So we get so used to having pain that we don't necessarily allow the joy and the fun to come in, but they involve decisions too. And you get to cut yourself some slack because you did make a decision to go to Tampa and have fun with your nephew. So again, I'm just spinning it around that maybe because you quote, don't have difficult decisions, it doesn't look like you have, that you're making decisions or choices, and you do, but you do, and you are.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I am going to be, I like when you said making the decision to go to Tampa, and I'm going to be, I think, more present to what comes from that decision, and then what other decisions will or opportunities for making new decisions throughout the weekend. So, because I know my nephew and his partner, he and his partner are they struggle in their relationship, so maybe there'll be opportunity to to be there for them. I don't know, but just be open to, like, now that I've made the decision, what is going to present itself for me in the path of that decision. So,
Right.
and that sounds exciting. That sounds is much lighter than feeling like I haven't gotten the game. So
I think you have gotten, and it really is. It's like, when I go to anywhere new or anything, do anything, it's like I always go, how can this be fun?
Yeah.
How can this be more magical than what opportunities are going to come my way? What possibilities can happen? So when we do that kind of open-ended questioning and let the universe answer and bring it to us, man, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. It is awesome. And yeah. Thank you, Catherine. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
So I understand that we are sharing what is the better problem that we recognize this week.
Yes.
To tell you the truth, because I work on acceptance, deeper acceptance, I think a better problem will always be expanding that muscle of acceptance, right? And actually, my children are here in our family. We have a saying that says, like, you're facing a challenge, a challenge moment, and then you say, if this is the biggest problem I'm gonna have it today, I'll take it. Because we know what bigger problems could be, not better, right? Bigger. And therefore, the problem that I'm facing right now is the better. Does it make sense? So I basically been dealing with a lot of situations that I had to remind myself, because it is a reframing, right? I teach my clients about 5 social cues that when they are activated, they turn on our reactive brain, right? And trust me, I had my reactive brain turned on this week a lot, and I had to keep on going back to reframing how, or what Catherine was saying, how can I make this better? Or if this is the biggest problem I'm gonna have it today, I'll take it. And I had to keep reframing. And I think that in itself becomes the better problem. So the problem that I'm facing right now becomes the better problem because I changed my perception of it. So the better problem for me in my mind, and maybe I played this game totally not the way that was supposed to be, but for me, the better problem is actually increasing my ability to turn any problem into a better problem. Looking at it in a way that changes my perspective of it, so then I can turn off my reactive brain to it, and therefore I can turn on my creative brain to see it in a better light. Does it make sense? Yeah. So that's what I felt like this week, interesting enough, because of this proposal of this week's game, I had the chance to practice finding the better problem in every problem I faced. And
That's
was
not funny, I know, it's not funny.
Mhm.
no,
It's just, but
it
good for
gets
you.
well, it gets to the point that you are able to relax enough that you can even laugh about it, right?
Mm.
Just understanding that it's very empowering, and I think, like you said, I made the decision to go see my nephew in Tampa. By the way, I lived in Tampa for 9 years, and who knows, that choice will lead you to something that you might like or you might not like. And if you like it, yay, enjoy it. If you don't like it, what is the lesson behind this, and how can I turn this issue into a better problem,
Mhm.
and I think it's that mental exercise, and it's an invitation for us all around. And like I said, I think I played this game all in,
Mhm.
my own twisted way, but this is how it came out. Today my daughter had her braces taken out. She's 21, right? Because when she was 13, 14, and I could see that the occlusion was not okay, and I'm a dentist, okay? We didn't have the means to have braces put on, right? And when she took it off today, I felt elated that her treatment ended, and that she's always being very sweet and beautiful girl. But as a dentist, every time that she smiled when she didn't have the braces yet, my dentist heart would cringe, you know? And I had to turn that into my better problem. Like, okay, Leona, she couldn't have the braces when supposedly odontologically it would be best, but guess what? She survived, she's not scarred by it, and she's doing fine, you know? So okay, bye, Leandra.
Bye.
So
Yes, thank you.
uh so bye,
Bye.
sweetie. So that was the exercise that I get myself invited over and over and over to practice. So I like it.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, because I'm also remembering, like, when she shared this, is that just because we reach a certain point of success or financial whatever, the problems are still there, the challenges are still there. And it makes me think of a book that I just finished reading by Anthony DeMello. I don't know if you guys know him.
Mm-mm.
Well, it's not by him, it's actually by someone else that wrote about him. But he says that someone had asked him what it's like to be enlightened. And he said, well, before I was enlightened, I was depressed. And after I'm enlightened, I'm enlightened, I continue to be depressed. And it's like, just because we reach those milestones or those goals doesn't mean that we still don't have those challenges.
Challenge.
It's just it's like it's just not hitting me or hitting us the same way. And that's why to me it's about like you talk about the acceptance piece, and something I've been working on for a really long time. And I definitely gets easier and easier each time. So really my challenge was just like looking for, well, what is the better problem that I have in this space? I don't know if you guys follow me on Facebook or whatever, but I did quote the book, the very end of the book.
What's it called again? Unencumbered by what?
Unencumbered by Baggage. And it says here, the last part of this book says, it's a quote from Tony that this man wrote: "Don't change. Desire to change is the enemy of love. Don't change yourselves. Love yourselves as you are. Don't change others. Love all others as they are. Don't change the world. It is in God's hands and he knows. And if you do that, change will occur marvelously in its own way and in its own time." he paused for a while and he added his final words: yield to the current of life unencumbered by baggage. So, so that was like really present with me.
Who
And
is the
maybe-
author? Is right about
Carlos,
Antonio? Carlos?
Carlos G. Valles, Valles, Carlos G. Valles. And yeah, I just,
He's Brazilian.
he's Spanish from
Oh,
Spain. Yeah.
Carlos de Valles and Antonio de Mello. They sound Latin names.
Right. Tony DeMello is India. He's from India, and Carlos is Spanish.
Ah.
So anyway, yeah. What was the other thing I was thinking about? The taking of what you need today. She was talking about that earlier. Leandra was taking what you need today to do what you need today. So I don't know if that, I don't know. It did, when I was reading that, something came up. Oh, change, creating change. There's also a verse in the Bible that talks about where, you know, you're supposed to work on yourself. Like, instead of looking at everyone else's problems and trying to fix that, the way that I fix that is by fixing, like looking within myself, seeing that problem out there as something in me that I need to work on,
Mhm.
you know? So I don't know if this is getting off topic or not, but anyway, these things are coming up for me as I'm like thinking,
Yeah.
but yeah. And yeah. So
Was it hard for you guys to practice this exercise this week? I don't know if you already shared that, but I'm sorry I came in late. So was it challenging?
I found it because I don't know, I just didn't quite get it, but I think Catherine was like, you know, the pressure to get the game probably got in my way. So, you know, so
Interesting.
I don't know. How about you, Catherine? Catherine had some pretty awesome breakthroughs.
Well, you know, it depends on the game. They hit us all differently. Like, I still have not done the my recognition whatever award
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
You know, I
Mhm.
mean, that game did not land for me. I mean, it's
Mhm.
one I need to work on. I am just not ready to do it yet.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, and I can appreciate, because I was very reluctant to come on the call, you know, the Friday call, because I didn't do it, you know, whatever. And it's like, oh, I'm just gonna, you know, come and just, you know, witness what other people had to share. And I just had to let myself be okay with, I'm not ready to do it yet. I don't know what, I mean, this is a piece, this is a big chunk I'm working on. And when I'm ready, I'll be ready, but I'm not going to just I'm not going to try to do something just to get it done, just because the game said, you know, quote, I was supposed to do it and whatever.
Mhm.
But yeah, you know, I'm cutting myself some slack. This is something that I am actively working on, or it's almost as though it's percolating from the subconscious into the consciousness. And so it's not that I'm not doing it. I am doing it. A part of me is doing it, and I'm just, when it comes to the surface, then I'll work with it more actively. But at the moment, it's not ready to. And I mean, and forcing myself to sit down and do something, you know, and putting pressure on, and then judging myself, being critical of myself because I don't do it, that doesn't serve. I mean, I tend to I try to remember that this is a game, and I'm playing it. And play is fun. And if it's not fun, then I'm not doing it until it's fun. And then when it's fun, then I'm going to be ready to do it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, makes sense. It's just that because of life in general, right? Things present in different ways, and And when your brain is ready, you're gonna take it no matter what. So,
Right.
you know,
So punishing ourselves and beating ourselves up before we're ready, just because the outer world, or even like this is weak, there's a sense of urgency that we have to do it. I think we get to like consciously start to trust our own timing.
mm,
And I'm not saying be lazy about it or excuse ourselves and like, whatever. I think we're too, we're on the journey enough that we're not doing that. We're not trying to one thing I would say is, like I know after Shivi passed initially, I kept myself really busy because that was my way of coping because I didn't want to feel. And so it's not that we know what our coping mechanisms are. And if we're not doing the coping things and we're just sort of being with that puzzle and let it just be there.
Mhm.
yeah, no, I get it. And there are things that we do have to follow a deadline. You need
Right.
to, and so you do that. But then when it comes to the game, when it comes to a social event, you do your best to get there on time. You do your best to accomplish certain things, but you can't beat yourself on that because then it's not fun anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What did they say? You can if you're in a race and then you keep it's like being on the race and then you keep prodding yourself with a cattle prod, right? You
Mhm.
will finish the race, but then you decide that you never want to race again, you know? So it has to become sustainable. Certain things in life has to come from that level of looking for sustainability,
Yep.
Mhm. Mhm.
Absolutely.
because if you make it too hard, we
Mhm.
just decide not to do it, and there is a
Right.
reason.
And then we quit.
Yes.
Because we put so much pressure and so much self-judgment on ourselves to do it that we just give up and we quit. And so instead of doing that, it's like, what we know in the game is that there's going to be a new game, next week. But I think at some point in time from taking this in the past, playing this game in the past, somewhere along the way, and I don't remember when, but we have a time where it's a week where you can go back to a game that you maybe didn't complete or whatever, and we can play catch up. Now, I could be completely wrong on that. Am I like, making this up out, Eliana? I don't remember, but it seemed like last time around we got had a chance to do that. Or, we can give ourselves that gift, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Yes.
It is a test exercise, not a test, an exercise of self-acceptance, self-forgiveness, and self-love on where you're standing, right?
Absolutely.
Because I was listening to what you said, the quote from Anthony de Mello. Do you mind repeating a little bit for me, Teresa?
Mhm.
Because he said that change is not happening. I didn't
Oh,
understand.
it said, don't change the world. It is in God's hands and he knows. If you do that, change will occur marvelously in its own way and in its own time. Is that what you?
Oh
wanted?
yes, because I was the way he words it, it sounded interesting in my ears. Because I have one that I love from the I Ching book that says, "Keep your heart straight and allow the world to shift and
Yes.
and align to you."
Yes. Yes.
I like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's where being in alignment with love for me, which is complete acceptance for what and who I am and what and who other people are,
Yeah.
So,
No,
and I have seen that happen in my life where I kept wanting to help my mom see something in herself, and it was judgment. And it was like, I had to stop judging her for not being able to see it in order for her to be able to see it. And it actually happened.
It's
It
true.
actually happened. Like,
Uh-huh.
I was
Uh-huh.
sitting with her one day and she's like, you know, I'm learning to be not so judgmental, and I could have fallen off my chair. But it's exactly what you said. It's like, and what I said is just being that change,
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
know,
It's always
That's
that.
not-
not
That's-
for the sake of creating the change, but just being it within yourself, because that's when everything else lines up.
Yes.
And
Yeah. Allow the
even-
world to adjust to you, right?
Yes, yes.
I like that. I like that.
So, yeah. Thank you guys so much. And I've written down, be present to the moment. What is fun? And for me, like trying to get this game more is, what is the problem right now and how is this better than the problem before? So I don't know if that will help me or not, but yeah. I'm definitely gonna, do you guys want to start declares? Or are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready, but I don't know if I have anything I want to declare.
Okay. Well, I have something. Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Okay, I'll go. So I declare that I am going to revisit my goals so that I can see the direction that I had set for myself. So, yeah.
And I declare that I will keep taking deep breaths. So this way, whatever is happening around my life right now is just that for me, opportunities for me to deepen the lessons, to deepen the acceptance, to strengthen the acceptance muscle, and to truly enjoy being who I am and enjoy my life and everything that comes with it. And just to very quickly share here, I had to take my daughter to remove her braces this morning, right? And we had to go really, really early because since she's on spring break from college, and we were like 6:30, we were out there driving towards the orthodontist, and this is the picture that I saw.
Oh, with the full moon.
Cool.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. Do you have a picture of your daughter
Yes, I do.
without her braces? That would be lovely to see.
Mhm.
Yes, I do.
Oh, look at how sweet. Oh, sweet. Look at that smile.
That's
I
awesome.
know.
She's so happy, isn't she?
I know. I know.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
So-
good for her.
This is my declare that in the midst of everything, the hurricane that sometimes show up, I will keep on finding the eye of the hurricane, and I'll keep on practicing. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. How about Catherine? Does anything come up for you?
Mm. I declare I am trusting more and more every day in divine timing and divine plan.
Oh, that's good. Yes,
Beautiful.
I like that.
Beautiful.
I like that.
That's
All
awesome.
right, ladies. Well, thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
so-
Thanks, you guys. It was
You know, people don't realize that this is the secret power of this game are the Friday meetings.
yeah,
Don't you think in a way? It's
it's
uh,
more
yeah, it's more
Mhm.
intimate, but you receive so much.
Mhm.
So it's a secret, people, some people know to show up and other people, so it makes that container to
Mhm.
helps us all expand more. So thank you.
Yes, I love it. I think the Friday ones are so inspiring.
I
And
know, I love them too. And sometimes I can't make it because my husband's radiation is happening every day, right?
Right,
And
right.
Friday gets a little bit hard, but
Yeah.
that's okay. That's
Well, we
okay.
love
When I
it.
can-
We always love it when you're here,
Yes,
Yes.
thank
and
you.
we know
ladies.
everybody else is here in spirit. So it's it's
Good.
totally fine if they can't make it. We get that, but we are
Yes.
blessed and we do get to show up. So, any rate,
Yeah,
thank you all. Have a
Thank
great
you.
weekend. Have fun with
Have a
our,
good-
our puzzles, our better puzzles.
Thanks.
yes,
Bye.
bye.